friends, it's amazing that we are now at the 5th episode of our masterclass. We've got one more to go, and it's going to be live tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Please join me right here for that live session. Today we are evaluating a speech made by Mr. Julius Malema at the funeral of Mama Winnie Mandela. I would have loved to play the video as I comment, but I'm respecting the production rights of the people who are shooting. And so I've watched it a couple of times. I'm going to tell you how it goes, give you a line, and
Julius,
give you my commentary. And
Malema.
I'm urging you, before you watch this video, do watch Julius Malema's speech. I will put the link in the comments there. But do watch the speech, listen to it, and let's see if you will come to the same conclusion like I did. The first comment I'm going to make is that that was an amazing talk. That was an amazing speech. You don't have to agree with him politically, but we have to agree that he's one of the best orators in our country. He does get you to want to listen to him. Even those who hate him, they love listening to him. He's a great talker. My experience of him speaking was at a funeral of Scotch in Paris, in Friede, a couple of many years ago. Speaking after the Secretary General of the ANC. He was still president of the ANC Youth League. What passion from a speaker who stands there. I loved what I saw. I was taking a video right a few meters away, and I was impressed by such eloquence. And I'm saying, here's a person we must learn some of the secrets of great public speakers from. But at the funeral of Winnie Mandela, he was at his element. I must say, he was at his element. Remember, it was a very difficult environment where he leads a party opposed to the ruling party. And there's no love lost between these two groups. And so he forced his way to the center of an ANC event. Ideally, people would have said, no, don't give him a chance to speak. Because people have got a tendency of using funerals to spite people, saying, no, don't give him a chance to speak. But his level of closeness to Winnie Mandela gave the ANC no opportunity to sideline him. I'm not saying they wanted to. I'm saying even if they wanted to, they had no chance. Also because the family is very close to the leader of the EFF, the young man, Julius Malema. So this is how it goes. The first part of his speech is a greeting. Normally, it's just a ceremonious thing where you say, Amandla, greet this, greet that. But his greeting was filled with intentions. It was deliberate. Because a section of the audience would not want to hear him. They would have booed if they could. If they had an opportunity to boo and embarrass him in front of the world, they would have done it. And so he had to give an introduction that touches on everybody in the room, that everybody feels like, no, it's a funeral, he's going to behave. He had to give an impression that he's going to behave. Because there is a fear when he speaks. In Zulu they say, Kuma I think they say, sparks fly when he speaks. You don't know what he's going to say. And so I'm guessing they were like, hey, but what is he going to say? But his greeting made them relax. I call it a calm, a false sense of security, a calm before a storm. You don't rise and you show your intention in terms of attacking your opponent in the first line, especially in their home ground. A great move. This is what he did. He gave the struggle salutation Amandla. He honored the defiant spirit of Winnie Mandela. Listen to the type of words he uses. The defiant Winnie Mandela. We had to bury Winnie Mandela. Everybody here loves this woman. And it's like, guys, I'm with you. We're here to bury this defiant leader. And then he starts touching on the two issues that are close to his heart. He uses the platform where the world is watching to say,
Long live.
forward with
Forward to
expropriation
expropriation of land without compensation.
forward with
Forward.
expropriation
Forward
of
to
land without
expropriation of
compensation
land without
and
compensation.
nationalization of banks and mines. And this gives a rousing in the audience. The audience love what he's saying. Remember, if a person says what you like, wherever they are, there's a part of you that's applauding. So the audience begins applauding. Amandla, they applaud. Winnie Mandela is defined, applaud. Expropriation, applaud. Nationalization, applaud. So far, he's good. Even those who were careful, ready for him to throw in the sparks, were now sitting back and they're like saying, oh, but it's a funeral. He's going to behave. And then he greets the MCs and the family. Oh, he greets the MCs. Oh, the MCs are like, oh, he recognizes us. He greets Zenani and Zinzima Tigizela Mandela and family. He greets religious leaders and political leaders. He greets the judiciary. Now listen to some of his spicy additions to his greetings. He says, I greet the judiciary under the capable leadership of Mokgwenyane. Why? If you read your current affairs, you realize there was a sense of people who were trying to oppose Mokgwenyane because of some of the decisions that he had taken. But he was saying, we are with you, Mokgwenyane. We are a capable leader. Those spices should have been an indication that this is not going to be a different day. He's going to serve us the Malema that we know. And then he greeted Parliament. I'm going through the speech with you, making some comments. He greeted Parliament. He mentions the ruling party, the Youth League, the Women's League, and causes. He could have ignored them, but it's their home ground. And he's got this audience that he wants them to listen to him. You cannot ask people to listen to you when you become, adversarial in the first move. And so he acknowledges them. Anyone who acknowledges you,
the underrated General Sipho Mnyakeni,
because now why are you fighting them?
former President Mbeki,
and then he greets
former
the
President
guitarist leaders of the EF. He always
Comrade
makes a point
President
to greet the
Matamela Cyril
EFF leaders, and then say under the capable leadership of the deputy
salutation
president.
to
What is
fellow
he
South
doing?
Africans,
There's a sense that every
Africans
time
and
a
people
leader
of the
is
world.
leading, the deputy is the opposition.
Comrade
But every time he
Ramaphosa,
speaks,
I
he
want to
puts
reassure you
Floyd on
that today
a pedestal
we
in a
are in a
positive sense
burial
to say,
of Mama Winnie
I am a leader,
Mandela.
but you are a leader. We are under a capable leadership of this person. There are leaders who ignore their deputies. They try to silence them, to make them redundant so that people might think the leader is useless. You are not a better leader if you make another leader seem useless, especially when you are the senior leader in that relationship. He greets Floyd. He greets MK veterans. And then another spice. He mentions the underrated Sipho Mnyakeni. He plays into the factional politics of this ruling party. That there are people who don't like this Nyanda, there are people who like him. He says, well, I'm greeting all of you MK people, but I'm especially greeting this. If you are a Bible reader, just a little pause. If you're a Bible reader, you know that there was a point when Jesus resurrected. He says to Mary, go tell my disciples and Peter to meet me in Galilee. Now, that's the spice I'm talking about. Peter was a disciple, but Jesus had to mention him because he wanted a certain spotlight on this Peter for some reasons. And that's what Malema does with Nyanda here. He greets the former presidents. Now, this is one weak point for me in the speech. It's another discussion for another day, where he greets all the former presidents of the country and he omits the one who just left office. It's for me, it was an expression of his hatred for the man, because you cannot take away from the fact that he was the president of the country, no matter what you felt about him. That's the one red I see in this speech. Otherwise, the rest was on me. Of course, it was his right, his decision to make a certain point at that time by not mentioning a present person who's a former president when he mentions the other presidents. And then he does a masterstroke for me now before turning into his speech. He says, Matamela, anyone who disrespects you disrespects Mama. I call this again the calm before a storm. He makes the president relax and say, oh, he's not going to attack because he's telling people not to disrespect me. So he's not going to do his normal spicy spark sending presentations. All right. That was the first part of the greeting.
When it was
Then
fashionable to do so.
he goes to
Many
the
youth
second part,
activists were
which
personally
I
released
call
by Winnie Mandela from
the
the
open.
custody defense of apartheid military. She
then he starts saying,
confronted gun-carrying white
I'm
men
here to represent
who
the
were
EFF
sworn
and his
killers
constituencies,
of the
which is
apartheid defense force
But then he starts
throughout
listing
the
a
long
lot of
years
people,
of the state
many
of
who are
the
in the audience,
emergency in the 1980s.
who are often ignored.
Yeah,
The difference
she
between
lived
Malema
a
and
constant
other leaders
naked
when
contact
they address is
with
that
danger,
he
prepared to
mentions
lose
the
her
weak, the
life,
poor,
and even life of her own
petrol
children
attendants,
who
the
were put
waiters,
into
people who are
danger.
never mentioned. When we greet the president, the what, the protocol observed, and everybody. And he flips the script. He greets everybody, including the poor, including the unemployed, including the fees must fall. Now remember, I said to you, when somebody acknowledges you, they disempower you. It's hard for you to fight them because they're acknowledging you. And so all these people who are filled in this stadium, the garage workers, the waiters, the domestic waiters, they are celebrating. This man is representing us and he's building an applause audience for himself before he gets to the part where he turns the table. He says, I'm not here to bury Mama, borrowing from Julius Caesar. He says, Queen mothers don't die, they multiply into million red flowers, immeasurably beautiful there. Another thing that he masters, he creates images. Sometimes he over-exaggerates, but that's the purpose of a picture, to exaggerate in a way that you'll never forget it. He says, Queen mothers don't die, they multiply. Listen to what he says. Into red flowers, into a million red flowers. Of course, there are literal red flowers, but is he not referring to the EFF? He says the EFF, in an ANC meeting, the EFF are an expression of this woman who has passed. But she's not dead. She's multiplied into these red. Beginning now separating Winnie Mandela from the ANC. In a perfect way. I always say they didn't see it coming. In a perfect way, he separates Winnie Mandela from the ANC. Because Winnie Mandela is gone. Now, she's being multiplied in the red overalls. What about you guys? He's still going to say more. And then he says, I'm here to pick up the spite and the spear and continue to fight. I'm here to express condolences to Mandela's children. Now he goes to the family. He says, I'm taking over. He says, he assumes, in my view, the legacy of Winnie Mandela. He says, you will not be treated as people with leprosy as long as I'm alive. Oh, he's separating Mandela from the ANC. He makes himself now this person. This is what you do as a speaker. As a speaker, there's a persuasive angle you're having, and you use the tool at your disposal to win the audience over. Because the purpose of speaking, among others, is to win the audience over to what you are propagating. And then he says, I evoke the spirit of one who put the country above his safety, praising Winnie Mandela. He draws from the Winnie Mandela's fights, where Winnie would go to police vans and drag students out of the fighting physically with the apartheid police. A great leader on the ground she was. And he says Winnie was prepared to lose her life. Now this is a great tribute to the person we are here to bury. Remember that I said he started by celebrating everybody, greeting everybody, and now he's about to turn the script, but he's still on the right path now. He's just throwing a little barmaluma fodisa. In other words, you bite and then you make a person feel better. So he praises them and then he throws in a little jab. Praises them, throws in a little jab. That's what makes a speech that you want to listen to again and again. And then the script is about to change. He dismantles the ANC's claim to love Winnie Mandela. He does it, like a surgeon on the operating table. He says, your organization didn't share your sacrifice. Where is he addressing this? In the home ground of the ANC, with the audience, 80% ANC, with stage filled with ANC leaders, with the presidents of the ANC there. He says, your organization didn't share your sacrifice. And none of them will clap back. What will they say? It's a funeral. But they've already accepted him as a bona fide speaker in the first paragraphs of his presentation. He says, they didn't love you back. Persecuted by apartheid and disowned by your own. Dismantling the ANC from Winnie. Separating Winnie from the ANC. Remember, as a leader of a party, you are also there to speak for your party. But the way he did it, I'm sure some members left the ANC there because he really exposed some cracks. And then he says, Mama sold out, continuing this theme of praising Mama. Your name will be written in the book of life. And then he says to the people of Soweto, never forget Winnie Mandela. Who's going to say, no, we want to forget her? No, they can't. They love him. They love her. And they're here to bury him. Now, I spoke to you about turning the script. He's about to do something here that many speakers fail to do. He's about to attack. But he doesn't just attack. He begins by giving what everybody's going to say, yes, it's true, yes, it's true. He mentions the presence of the Mandela Support Committee that supported her. These people supported her in a struggle many years ago. He says they're here. And this is where we spoke about the catchphrase in the last video. Now there's a catchphrase he brings. They are here, Mama. He mentioned them. They are here. He says, the Mandela Support Committee is here, including Dalimpofu. Who's Dalimpofu? The chairperson of the EFF. He acknowledges the presence of Stompie's mother. Winnie Mandela was accused of murdering Stompie. Malema says, Stompie's mother is here. And she, when I asked her to come with me, she said, no, we are here to bury the mother. The ANC has asked me, so I don't want trouble. In other words, the mother of Stompie is not celebrating your death because that was a hoax story formed by the Stratcom. And then he says there was no animosity between you and Stompie's mother. He mentions Lebogang Maile. That's an ANC member who was president of COSAS. He says, Lebogang Maile gave you honorary status of COSAS. He's also here. In a way, he's just saying everybody is here who supported you, who loved you. He mentions the people of Winnie Mandela squatter camp. He says they named your squatter, their place, after you, in your life. That's another spice that's going to be revealed at the end. And then he says, including those whose graduation we attended. He's now punting EFF leaders. Mpofu is here. Ndlozi is here. They form part of all these people who really took care of you and supported you. I said to you, he's trying to remove Winnie from the ANC because they sold him out, according to him. And then the tables are turning now. They are here. Who's here? All these people who treated you
equally
nice.
so, Big Mama.
But listen to the tale.
Some of those who sold you out
Beautiful.
to the regime are here.
Some of those who sold you out to the regime are here. And then it took a long pause. If you watch the video, there's a long pause there. It's a pause that says, sit up.
Mama,
it's about to get ugly. Some of those who sold you out to the regime are here.
And what is funny,
the
Mama,
power of the pause
is
that it engages the listener to begin to think about what you are saying, to wonder what you are about to say, and to start responding in their hearts to what you are saying. That pause was long. I think he drank water. Just doesn't show in the video. A long pause. He exposes those who sold it out. He says it's funny they are crying the loudest. They are crying the loudest. That's another exaggeration. They're not crying the loudest. But he was saying they are here pretending as if they are also mourning with us. They pretend as if they cared. He says the UDF cabal is here. They rejected and sold you out. They called the president and distanced themselves from you. They are here. Keep saying they are here. And the agitation of the audience is rising. It's like somebody's asking, where are they? Where are they? And he's about to do something later on. Where are they? When I say they are here, everybody says, where are they? He says, why did they call a press conference to distance themselves from you? Because you were never a member of the UDF. You were a member of the ANC. Why did they do that? Now, here's this point. He says, you didn't tell me how we must treat them. I'm waiting for a signal. What's this guy going to say? Is he going to say, let's attack? Is he going to say, let's disrupt? It sounds like he's at the brink of calling for action against those who mistreated Mama. But he's got this skill of keeping us on our toes. Remember I spoke about expectation and teasers? He's right there. I'm waiting for a signal. He says, those who resigned from the ANC Women's League because they don't want to be led by the criminal are here. Continues to expose these people who are here, by the way, who claim now that they miss you. When you are alive, they rejected you. Some are playing prominent roles in your funeral. Now, those are those who were program directors. One of them was a former member of the Women's League that rejected Winnie Mandela. And then he says, I'm waiting for a signal. How should we treat them? Building the tension. He exposes them, and then he says, Mama, I'm waiting for a signal. All those catchphrases help us navigate this talk. And by this time, I can tell you, there's no way he's stopping the talk. There's no one who's going to say, okay, your time is up. You can't say that. He's made you want to hear what he wants to say, whatever side of the fence you are in. He says they refuse to pay tribute to they refuse that you pay tribute to Peter Mokaba at his funeral. They're here. Now listen to this phrase. We see them. They are here. We see them. We don't know what to do, but we see them. We don't want to be accused of disrespecting your funeral. There are things we could do. That's what is subliminally communicated. There are things we could do. We could disrupt. We could fight. But we don't want to fight. But what must we do? Because you did not give us a sign. He says, we mention these incidences to make them aware that we know what they did to you. How did he move from greeting everybody, praising everybody, to an outright frontal attack, which is what is happening now? Now, here's another powerful. Now, in this part, he expressed an emotion I've never seen. The anger in his eyes, the passion. He says, we see you in your beautiful suits, betrayers, sellouts. We see you. Just analyze that phrase. It's a contradiction. Beautiful suits, betrayers. Beautiful suits, sellouts. They look beautiful, but their actions are not beautiful. And then we see you. How does it feel being one of those sitting in that meeting? It's like he's pointing a finger at you and he's not even looking at you. He's looking at the audience. I'm describing a speech that was close to perfect in terms of being a presenter. And then, remember earlier he said, Matamela, no one will disrespect you. And this gave the president a false sense of security. And then he goes on to say, what do we tell the widows of Marikana? Oh,
The widows
is he going to go there?
Marikana.
I'm talking about a speech that makes you continue
What
to
must we
engage
tell them, ma?
because of the content and the delivery method. What do we do to those who killed Marikana workers? You said we must come back to the ANC. But which ANC? Of the people who sold you out? Now it's a frontal attack on the ANC. The ANC is useless. It rejected Mama. It sold you out. We won't even go there. As much as we respected you, there's no ANC to go back to. That's what he's saying. And then, Mama, why did you leave us? Come back and give us a signal. By now, it's too late not to listen. He has them, in his words, by the scrotum. By now, they sit there helpless. I won't talk about what they did, to try to soften the blow, which didn't work with Fikile Mbalula. But I'm telling you, this guy gave a talk that must be studied in school on how to be an orator of note. In closing,
Fellow fighters,
he says, fighters, let us bury Mama with dignity. We know who Mama is. We don't need Stratcom to define her for us. We will celebrate her forever. A conclusion. Leaving people agitated, he says, but even though we are that angry, we are here to honor our mother. And then he leaves the straight stage. They normally say you must start strong and finish stronger. He leaves the stage on a stronger space. He says, if the ANC really honors Winnie Mandela, remember, he just proved that they don't. He just proved that they're useless. He just attacked them in their event, in their home quarters with a majority of their followers. But they couldn't fight back because the way he started the speech got them to like him. And then slowly but surely, he unveiled the real reason for his talk today. And the last sentence finishes me. If the ANC really honors Winnie Mandela, name the Cape Town airport Winnie Mandela airport. And then
Winnie Mandela Airport. Thank you.
Tell me, is that not an amazing talk? You don't have to agree with him. Is that not an amazing talk? So in a score rating, what do you think about the talk? Was the purpose clear? Of course it was. Was the introduction attention-grabbing, motivation audience, previewing speech? Of course. He made us want to listen to him, no matter what side of the fence you are. Did he make points and supported them? Of course he did. He told what these people did and the reason why he says they've betrayed you. He gives the reason in their suits. Sellouts, betrayers. Was the conclusion effective? It was. It elicited a response. It was the talk of the town in the coming days on Twitter, on Facebook, in the media. Should we rename the Cape Town airport Winnie Mandela? Because he built a case that makes sense. In his delivery, he maintained contact with the audience. He used gestures to express how passionate he was. He used volume, pace, and poise. He was confident standing, speaking to thousands. And his presence on stage was amazing. And the audience was greatly engaged. I give this talk 92%. That was a beautiful presentation by Mr. Julius Malema. Did you watch the talk? What did you think about it? Any comment? You can put them down here. We will, I want to watch other speeches and analyze them like I did this one. But it's one of the talks I just go back to and watch them and listen and say, we do have orators living among us. So we can't be bad speakers. Let's up our game and speakers. It's possible. Let's meet tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Tomorrow is a Saturday. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, please meet me and I'll be live discussing 25 speaking skills every speaker must have. And then I'll be going on a live Q&A session. This will take us about 30 minutes or so. I won't discuss them in detail, just list them. I sourced them from 6 Minutes, a website by Andrew Dalkin. I think it's a great resource. You can visit and get other tips on becoming a great speaker. My name is Sipho Mnyakeni, and I'm your coach. Let's meet tomorrow.